Simon Squeaksalot cannot stop yapping. He's always been the most talkative mouse in his friend group, and he really can't even go more than 10 seconds without squeaking in about some random fact or piece of trivia that no one really asked for, to be honest. He's a little bit on the annoying side, but he is chill and he's very knowledgeable. But it could drive some mice to madness, just the amount that he squeaks non-stop. But one day he was just pacing around his mouse hole, excitedly squeaking to anyone who would listen, as per usual. Did you know that mice can squeak really loudly? Did you know that mice can jump up to 18 inches high? That's up to 7 times our body height. Nibbles and Whiskers, the other mice in his mouse hole, were just nibbling on bits of stolen granola and low bits of cheddar that they found around the office. And get this, mice can fit through a hole the size of a dime. A dime! We're like little furry ninjas. Cheddar rolled onto his back and groaned. Please, Simon, not today. I just want one morning without you squeaking in my ear, just squeaking it up about some random facts. Nibbles popped a sunflower seed in her mouth and said, "You've been talking for the last hour, Simon." She was getting really annoyed, and understandably, because Simon was squeaking a lot. Simon didn't really hear them, or at least he pretended not to. And you wouldn't believe what I found out about cheese. There's this thing called lactose, and apparently some humans can't actually even eat cheese because of this. Imagine that, a life without cheese. It's called being lactose intolerant, Simon. Get over it. These mice are not being very nice to Simon Squeaksalot, even though he's telling them a lot of useless facts. Not super nice. Pleading Patrick's getting into the mix now, though, because he's getting really annoyed with Simon as well. And something inside of him just snapped one day. He said, "Please, I can't take it anymore," Pleading Patrick shouted, throwing his paws up in the air. Everyone froze and looked over at Pleading Patrick because he was usually the peacemaker, and he was usually just like a super chill guy who would just say please, and a lot of times he'd get his way because he is pretty good at pleading. He said, "I'm going to crash out, Simon. I'm going to crash out. If you please don't stop squeaking so much. You've been squeaking for days and I can't take it anymore." This is really surprising coming from Pleading Patrick because he's usually just super chill. Simon blinked and his whiskers were twitching nervously. I'm just trying to what?" Patrick cut him off, and his tail was twitching furiously, and he was so mad. He was clenching his fist at Simon. Simon was actually starting to take this seriously. For a while, people would tell him that he was squeaking so much and he was becoming annoying, but he wouldn't really care that much because he thought, well, he's got some great facts and they're just overreacting a little bit. This might be true, but Pleading Patrick was sort of scaring him here. And Pleading Patrick was growing more frantic by the second. He said, "Let me at him. I just need 5 minutes and I'll teach him some silence." Whoa, Pleading Patrick, are you going to try to kill Simon Squeaksalot? We better not have any other mice deaths on our hands after what happened with Kingpin Keith and Conman Connor to Tiny Dot Tim, because that was so moused up. Simon Squeaksalot is a really chill mouse. He just likes to tell people his facts a lot. He hasn't actually done anything wrong. Pleading Patrick should probably get some earplugs because he's acting a little bit crazy. He just can't take a little bit of extra squeaking in his day. He was actually really thinking about what Pleading Patrick said. Simon said, I'm sorry, guys, I didn't mean to..." But before he could finish what he was trying to say, Great Grandma came in, and Great Grandma was basically feeling really upset, and she thought that someone stole her cheese. So Great Grandma had some cheese lying in the fridge in the other room, and when she came to go check on it, it was actually gone. So she was really just trying to figure out who stole her cheese, and this gave Simon Squeaksalot a bit of a break because he was in hot water here with Pleading Patrick being so mad at him, like about to crash out on him. But Simon Squeaksalot really just wanted an out, and Great Grandma was the perfect opportunity. This was sad that Great Grandma got her cheese stolen, though, so she was really trying to figure out who it was. But Pleading Patrick was still fuming, and he just sat there with his arms crossed, and he was so mad. He wasn't even saying please anymore. He was just getting real mad. But he wasn't threatening Simon anymore, so I guess the situation had cooled down a little bit. We can thank Great Grandma for that, for just coming in. But still, she persisted and was asking, "Who stole my cheddar?" While Great Grandma was talking about her stolen cheddar, Simon was just like shuffling his paws, and he hated to admit it, but he was really thinking about what Pleading Patrick said still, and he thought he had a point. Maybe he was squeaking a little bit more than necessary. Maybe he was a little bit overly talkative, and he wanted to just apologize to everyone, but he thought he had to think it through a little bit more because he didn't know exactly what he wanted to say to these people. But Peter Pepperjack was looking a little bit nervous in the corner, And it turns out Peter Pepperjack actually stole the cheese from Great Grandma. He didn't know it was Great Grandma's, but he was just really hungry. And Peter Pepperjack is always trying to get bigger, and he needs his protein, so he just eats as much cheese as he can find. And he thought that the cheese in the fridge was up for grabs because it didn't have a name on it. So he said, after my workout, I need some cheese to replenish my muscles because I'm training to fight Matthew Mozzarella, so I need all the protein I can get. I'm just going to eat this cheese. Great Grandma was not too happy about this, but Peter Pepperjack is a kind guy, so he ended up getting her some replacement cheese, and it all ended up being okay. Costume Clarence actually got thrown into the mix, though, because Costume Clarence noticed what Simon Squeaksalot did. Oh, I guess he didn't do anything in particular, but he was just squeaking a lot as per usual, and it was sort of getting to everyone that day, particularly Pleading Patrick. And Costume Clarence said, I think I could give you a new costume and maybe you could rebrand yourself. Maybe you could stop being such a annoying mouse and maybe you could be like a pirate mouse or something. So he gave Simon Squeaksalot a pirate costume, and apparently Simon Squeaksalot is going to try out being a pirate instead of being a squeaky, annoying mouse who talks all the time. But honestly, I think that he should still tell people his facts, but maybe just not quite as often, because they do get a little bit annoying sometimes. But he's a smart mouse and he's pretty knowledgeable and just an entertaining, friendly guy. So yes, I think he should dress up as a pirate to sort of reinvent himself, but he should still chip in with some of his quips, some of his squeaky remarks sometimes, because they can be pretty entertaining. Please like and subscribe, guys, please. And also, please let me know what you think of today's mouse of the day. Do you guys mess with Simon Squeaks a lot?